Do you suffer from stage fright? Let's take care of that right now. Hey, thanks for joining me. My name is Keith Harris. This is Keith's Keys, and today, a very interesting topic, stage fright. Quite often people ask me, do I get nervous before I go on stage? And my answer is, if you don't get nervous, you don't care. Yeah, you should get nervous before you go on stage. You should feel, in fact, I've had twice in my life, whereas I stood backstage, I actually thought, you know, I wonder if I just go home right now, maybe nobody will notice. And of course, I knew if I did that, I'd never sing again. So I put one foot in front of the other. I walked out on stage and, hey, look, I'm still here to talk about it. So nerves and that upset or sick feeling or so many things that are part of singing, yeah, that's very real. So let's discuss it. What is it? What can you do about it? And how can you maybe use it as a fuel to perform even better? First off, let's discuss where nerves come from, okay? I think the body knows when we need to have the energy to perform in front of hundreds, thousands, whatever it is, in front of people. And so our body starts to build up this energy so that we can project a performance to all those people. And there's no way to practice that, right? You can't practice that in a practice room because your body knows it's just you in the practice room or just you and a teacher. So we get these bizarre sensations in our body before we walk on stage. And that makes us very uncomfortable. We assume that we're nervous or that we're upset or that something's wrong because some of those sensations that happen in our body are not comfortable. Right? You're sick to your stomach, of course the common butterflies, maybe you sweat, dry palm, sweaty palm, wet mouth, dry mouth. The list goes on and on and on. In fact, I even had a singer once who came to me and said, oh, I've just lost my voice. So I took the singer into a practice room, vocalized, said, see, you're fine, now let's go sing. And the person said, well, no, I still think, I said, look, it's okay to be nervous. And she said, well, I'm not nervous, I just lost my voice. I said, if you're not nervous, you don't care. Sometimes it can just be a matter of we do feel like a sudden shift in our voice, or we think we do. And actually, it's just a response to the pressure that's going on. And that's totally okay, that's normal. How we respond to it, now that's the key, right? So let's talk about some realities about nerves and what you can do about it. My number one tip in dealing with nerves is to feel the fear. Go toward the part that hurts. Don't move away from it. What we tend to do is say, that doesn't feel good. I want to go feel good. You're not going to feel good. Performing in front of bunches and bunches of people is not something we feel good about, all right? The preparation, it's a lot of pressure. You're doing something live, all right? Making these videos, super easy. When I make a mistake, I just cut it out, right? If I don't forget what I'm saying and I need to read my script, you see the burble in the screen and nobody knows the difference, right? On stage, when you make a mistake, that's a big deal, and we're very scared of that. Performing on stage is one of the most fantastic and exciting, dangerous events you can take part in, both to watch and to be on stage, because what's happening is real. So every performance that happens is going to be completely different, even if it's the same show. You could see the same show 7 nights in a row, and you're going to see something a little bit different each night. That's the fantastic thing about performing. And like I just said, our body knows that we're going on stage, and it knows it has to come up with this energy, so we only feel that when we go on stage. The unfortunate part about that is we can only practice that feeling and dealing with it when we go on stage. So the first thing is feel the fear. Go toward it. Embrace it. Understand it as a sensation in your body that's preparing you for stage. For me, I sit backstage, and if I feel in my gut and I do, a little this and I'm shaking a little, I say, oh, cool, all systems go. Going to be a great show tonight. Because I'm kind of used to the fact that that's what my body needs to put energy out on stage. So I've just accepted it. I don't like it. I don't like the way it feels. I never get used to it, but I've accepted it. And I now know if I feel that way, it's going to be a really good show. I actually get literally nervous if I don't feel that way. If I'm standing backstage cool as a cucumber and I feel nothing, then I know I'm in big trouble because my body hasn't figured out we're about to walk on stage. And the energy I need is going to have to come from somewhere else. That's a lot more work and you don't want to go through that. So feel the fear, go toward the fear. Your body is actually creating the energy you need to produce something miraculous. An energy that needs to shoot to so many people, right? So use that, go toward that. And if you're willing to embrace it, it's kind of like weightlifting, right? The first day you go to a gym, you start to lift a weight and man, this is pretty heavy. But you do it every day and after a while, yeah, it's still heavy. The weight weighs the same, but we don't notice it as much. Suddenly our body starts to get used to that particular exercise, that particular skill, or carrying that particular weight. And that's what it is. That's what being a performer is. You're carrying a particular weight. So we can either accept that and just understand that's part of the job, or we can find a new career. But if you accept the weight, it actually becomes your friend, and it'll help you perform even better. The second thing that can help you so much on stage when you get nervous is your breath control. More than the control of your breath, which is something you can work out with a voice teacher, is literally your cardiovascular development, your lung capacity. Think about what happens the first thing when you get nervous. The heart starts beating, right? And of course, if the heart beats faster, it uses a lot more oxygen. Well, if the body has to choose between living and running the voice, it's going to choose life. You don't get to choose in this case, all right? The body's going to choose life. Well, if you don't have the lung capacity to run both the heart and the voice, then the voice is going to suffer. And of course, what happens at that point, we get even more nervous and we end up down this tube of, this tunnel, stumbling down a hill. So if you don't have to be, a marathon runner or in crazy shape, but if you have enough lung capacity, if you have enough cardiovascular strength to handle both the voice and the heart, then you can sing quite well until the body calms down and you fall into a routine on stage. And sometimes it really only takes maybe a minute or two. It's not always that long. And maybe there's extra exciting moments on stage that kind of get you pumped up. Almost always, particularly if it's something really difficult I have to sing, like the Barber of Seville. The first thing you do on stage is the hardest thing you have to sing all night. So as soon as and I'm usually standing backstage feeling well, going through my usual stuff, and as soon as I hear that orchestra start the aria, da 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 da, my heart, oh, here comes the part. This is the hardest thing I have to sing all night. And years ago when I started singing this, that drove me crazy. I thought, oh no, now my throat's going to get dry. Now this is going to, and the first thing I have to do is walk out on stage and sing all my high notes. Now, it's actually my friend. My heart starts beating, and I say, oh, good, all systems go, we're ready to go, the body's excited. And I realize, too, that I've exercised enough, I've prepared enough outside of rehearsal that my body's ready, that I'm ready, and I can just enjoy the ride. And now I actually really like singing that role. It's a lot of fun to sing that role, and I've learned how to pace myself and accept the weight, as we talked about earlier, to sing it. So it's now a lot of fun. Fun even within all that mess going on, right? It's absolutely true. And the final piece that will really make a difference in your nerves on stage is to know that practice makes permanent, right? Practice doesn't make perfect. We say, oh, practice makes perfect. No, 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 no. It's muscle memory and repetition. Practice makes permanent. I was doing a Cenerentola once. I was singing Dandini, and I was about to walk out on stage and sing. The first thing you sing in that show is your aria. And I'm standing backstage, ready to go, feel good, all systems go, a little nervous, walk out on stage, look at the conductor, and my mind went completely blank. I didn't know what my first words were. And I heard my entrance music, and the conductor looked up, smiled, and went like this, and my mouth opened, and words came out, and about a sentence or two later, I realized everything was going pretty well. I hadn't missed everything, and the show went fine. And after the show, I talked to the conductor in the hall, and I said, man, right before my first entrance, my mind went blank, and I couldn't remember my text. And he said, yeah, that was pretty funny. I said, funny? I said, hey, how about doing me a favor here? Throw me a word or something. He said, I knew you wouldn't need it. I know how you practice. He actually believed so much in my practicing and my repetition and muscle memory that he knew he didn't need to help me and I wouldn't miss it. that freaked me out as much as I took it as a great compliment, because well, you still throw me a word, right? You never know. Maybe at some point I'll miss one. But he was absolutely right. If you practice for permanent, if you practice the way you want to perform, it will take care of you on stage. Strange things happen on stage. Cell phones go off, unfortunately. Babies cry. People walk around. Somebody in the orchestra misses an entrance. The conductor might even, not feel well, make a mistake. Other singers miss an entrance. But if you've really rehearsed over and over and over the way you want it to go, right? It's like brushing your teeth. I'll bet you brush your teeth every single day with the same hand in the same order. You don't even think about it. You just put the toothbrush in and go. And the automation that we want as a singer actually has to be on that level. So how many times do I go over sections, even if I'm singing a small role or a supporting role? Hundreds, literally, over and over and over and over. And if there are recordings, I listen to the recordings, learning the orchestra parts, so that when I hear this orchestra part, I sing this. I hear this, and then my body just responds. Practice can really be a big part. So your three big things: feel the fear, exercise a little, even if you don't like to, and practice makes permanent. I hope you find these really useful. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and if I can help you, please email me, keithharristraining@gmail.com.